What's going on, guys? Vulkan here. Welcome back to the channel. So First Descendant is dropping its first ever season on August 29th. So with that, we have some things to prepare for. Now, as with all things, this is an opinion. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing to prepare for the season. You don't have to follow this. You can go do whatever you want to do. And this is purely just me trying to help those out who might seem a little bit lost or a little overwhelmed with the new season and all of the content coming. So since this is the first season and we don't really know how these things are going to play out, we can sort of prepare from a general standpoint. And then as we get into the season, understand how these will work, understand the cadence of things, we can make better plans for next time. But for me, like I said, this is what I'm going to be focusing on: collecting, unlocking, and then leveling up. So from a general preparation standpoint, I'm going to do the basics. So for those of you who have not completed the story, I would do that. Try to complete all of the hard Void Intercept bosses, so you have all of those completed and buttoned up, tucked away. We don't need to worry about those. And then make sure to complete Bunny's backstory from this season, because I'm not sure if it's going to be around for next season. So if you're somebody who's interested in the backstory of each Descendant, this is something that you want to make sure you do. Also, make sure to have all of the normal upgrade materials on hand. That way you aren't waiting on research times when you're looking to improve any new gear coming with this season. This includes things like enhancement materials, catalysts, activators. Make sure you have a good stockpile of Kuiper and gold. Then also, this is a big one, make sure to spend all of your supply coins on the things that you want when it comes to the battle pass. So supply coins are things you unlock as you go and you complete seasonal challenges, and they will automatically be consumed to unlock rewards from start to finish. So as many coins as you have, it'll unlock all of those things. However, if you don't want something and you want to skip it and make sure you unlock the things you want to unlock, make sure to go out and do that ahead of time. We only have a few days left, so make sure to go do that. Just like that, make sure to also claim all of your Battle Pass rewards. That way you have all of those on hand. It most likely will auto-claim them, but just in case there's an issue, I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Okay, so let's talk about farming for the new characters. So if you're farming for Hailey, here's some things that I'm going to be doing just to make sure that I sort of have a good inventory. I'm going to be farming a handful of ice reactors so that I'm prepared. I have them on hand. Once I unlock her, I can automatically throw one on. That'll be effective, and I don't have to go out and necessarily farm them. Are they the hardest things in the world to farm? No, but again, I'd rather be efficient and save time than go out and try to farm afterwards. Second, level up any chill modules that are related to skill cooldown, chill skill power, etc. All of her skills utilize chill. And then what we've seen from the trailer, her big damage ability is her sniper, and we want that off cooldown as much as possible. So if you're curious on some examples of modules, here's what we're looking at. Nimble Fingers to reduce skill cooldown, focus on chill to increase chill skill power and reduce skill cooldown, Spear and Shield to increase defense and skill power, Skill Insight, which is going to increase your skill crit hit rate, Emergency Measures, which will increase your skill crit rate and damage increase, Skill Simplification to increase skill power and reduce your mana, Dangerous Ambush, which increases skill power against enemies not targeting you or any that are immobilized, which I think will be a great one for her because she's more of, again, a marksman type of character. Skill Concentration to increase your skill crit damage, Frontlines to increase your skill crit hit damage and chance, and then Battle of Stamina to increase your HP and skill duration. Again, these are examples. These are ones that I feel fit into most Descendants outside of the chill ones, but these are just good ones to have on hand because most Descendants can use these. They're going to improve most things. So again, making sure to have these leveled up and ready to go, I think is a really, really good thing to have. Now, in terms of weapons to consider, if you want to make sure you have a weapon on hand for Hailey, there's two that sort of stick out. I'm not going to say they're going to be perfect matches, but there are two that somewhat stick out. You have Afterglow Sword. So since Hailey is a marksman character who mixes skill power and firearm attack, this sniper rifle I think is going to be a great pairing. It increases your crit rate, weak point damage, and reload speed whenever you hit a weak point. I just feel like this is just a great one to have on hand for Hailey. Clairvoyance is the other one. It's a beam rifle. This can be used to chill and freeze enemies, and we don't really know exactly how all of Hailey's skills are going to work, but this may be worth having on hand if you can swing it. If not, that's okay, don't stress about it, but if you have this in your inventory or if you're close to unlocking it, then go ahead and just finish it off and have it. And if you don't need it, great, you can use it for Viessa. Viessa is still a powerful character, so Clairvoyance is another one I would take a look at. Now let's look at the other character, which is going to be Ultimate Freyna. Now Freyna is one of my favorite characters, both in terms of kit, in terms of playstyle. She just doesn't necessarily have as much oomph as I would like when it comes to really kind of anything. You have to build her perfectly to do one thing or another, and if you don't, then she falls way behind other Descendants. So she's very dependent on build and setup. Hopefully Ultimate Freyna is going to be a little bit better, but we're going to be following a somewhat similar path that we laid out for Hailey. So you're going to farm a handful of toxic reactors, that way you have them. You want to level up the modules that you would use for normal Freyna. Now right now we don't have a full understanding of Ultimate Freyna's kit and differences, but we do know that she will receive her own special modules. Just like previous Ultimate Descendants, those are coming as well, so don't worry about that. Now, here are the modules that I would recommend. Again, we're going to see some overlap with Hailey because those modules are generally good to have on hand for any Descendant. So you want Toxic Specialist. This is going to increase Toxic skill power. You could swap this out for Focus on Toxic if you really wanted to, but you know, it's kind of up to you, dealer's choice. We covered Spear and Shield to increase defense and skill power, Skill Insight to increase your skill crit hit rate, Emergency Measures to increase your skill crit rate and your damage, a Skill Extension, which is going to increase your skill duration, which is good because, again, for Freyna, we have a lot of things that kind of depend on having a high uptime. So making sure that skill duration is increased and as high as possible is going to be something we want to have going. Skill Simplification to increase your skill power and reduce your mana. Dangerous Ambush, which increases skill power against enemies not targeting you. Skill Concentration to increase skill crit hit damage. Front Lines to increase skill crit hit damage and chance. And then Battle of Stamina to increase your HP and skill duration. So like I said, a lot of overlap there, but again, I do think those are good ones to have on hand. Now let's talk about the weapons to consider. So for Freyna, we want Fallen Hope and Python. These are the same two that we would have for normal Freyna. They're very good. They work very well for her kit. They synergize very well for what she has. Fallen Hope is an assault rifle that's great for mobbing. It propagates toxic afflictions to groups of enemies. And then Python is an SMG, which is great for bossing. It reduces toxic resistance whenever you hit a weak point. So both of these will work really well. So guys, that is everything I'm going to be focusing on for the next 4 to 5 days for Season 1 to prep and make sure that everything is good to go. Now, a lot of these you may or may not be able to do just depending on the time that you have, but I would say if there is a top 3 that I would definitely make sure that I do get done, outside of completing the story and doing all of those kind of basic things, make sure to have all of the upgrade materials you possibly can on hand. That way, when we get the new kind of influx of weapons and Descendants and modules and all of those things, we can immediately start upgrading them and we don't have to wait on those research times. And then number 2, make sure to get your battle pass and your supply coins taken care of, because once those are gone, those are gone. We cannot get those things back. So that should be one of the top 2 things that you're taking care of. And then number 3, make sure to farm out those reactors. That way you have them on hand. Okay, everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited for Season 1. I think there's gonna be some big things coming with the game. I'm glad that they kind of changed their seasonal cadence a little bit and their release timing. But I wanna know in the comment section below, how are you preparing for Season 1? Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you next time.